is located within the Sunnyview Addition subdivision. It's 0.46 acres in size and has a substantial wetland in the rear yard. So considering for a variance requires a three-factor test for practical difficulties. The first factor is the test of reasonableness, meaning that the landowner would like to use the property in a practical way, but cannot do so under the rules of the ordinance. The septic systems are required for this home to be considered habitable. This variance request does not affect the city of East Bethel required setbacks. However, the building code requires that septic tanks and drain fields be placed 10 feet from all property lines and 20 feet from residential structures. The Minnesota Septic Code allows municipalities to grant variances from these setback requirements. Again, the drain field will be located at the front yard property line. The second factor is that the landowner problem is due to circumstances unique to the property and not caused by the landowner. Again, it's an existing lot of record that's 0.46 acres in size and has limited space for the drain field placement. Setback requirements from property lines, wells, structures, and the high water table is challenging and does require, again, a variance for a drain field. The third factor is that the variance will not alter the essential character of the neighborhood. Due to the small lot sizes and aging of the septics in this particular subdivision, the neighborhood has had a significant number of variances issued, with a number of older systems needing to be replaced in this area. This variance request is quite common, and granting this variance will not change the essential character of the Sunnyview neighborhood. So at this time, staff is requesting City Council to hold the public hearing and recommend the approval of the 10-foot setbacks variance from the front property line for the installation of the drain field located at 20854 Evelyn Street in Northeast, with the conditions set forth in Resolution 2021-51. And I had emailed you an updated resolution this afternoon, and then there's also, I put a copy of it in front of you on the dais with that, with the condition being a survey of the front property line or the front property pins must be located and marked prior to the issuance of the septic replacement permit to ensure there is no encroachment into the city right-of-way. And that concludes my report.
Okay, with that, I will open a public hearing for the variance for reduction setback from front property line from 10 feet to 0 feet at 20854 Evelyn Street. Is there any parties here tonight that are interested in talking to council on this matter?
Yeah, that's our property.
Would you like to address the council?
Yeah, we're just wondering, what the holdup is on it. We know that they had to do a variance on it, so we're just hoping it gets passed today.
Actually, could you come up to the microphone?
Yeah.
You're not recorded when you're in the audience, so. And if you could state your name and address for a record too, please.
Angela Rosa, 20854 Evelyn Street, Northeast, East Bethel, Minnesota.
Okay.
We've been waiting since, I want to say about May, to have our septic and drainage field taken care of, and we just didn't know what the holdup was. We contacted Northside Septic, and they said, yeah, now they have to do a variance on it, so we're just hoping that it gets passed today. So it's like the smell's starting to come into the house and that.
Well, this is the public hearing for the variance, and the idea is that we're going to consider it and pass or not pass it tonight.
Okay.
Normally, this goes through planning and zoning or the planning commission, correct?
Yes, but variances for septic systems do not. They come directly to City Council for public hearings.
Oh, okay. I was going to say it's right to the city council, so the decision's going to be made tonight. So.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here on this matter? If not, we'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion on this resolution.
Make a motion to approve 10-foot variance setback from the front property line for the installation of drain field, for the installation of a septic system for 20854 11th Street Northeast, to follow the conditions set in Resolution number 2021-51, granting a variance.
I'll second.
Motion made, second, discussion.
No, I just want to say that I really appreciate that we did approve bringing septics to the, straight to the city council instead of going through the planning and zoning. I think this is one of the best things to streamline this process.
Particularly when it's an emergency situation like this, so this is the fastest we can move, so. Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, to the motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No opposed, that motion passes. You can talk with Stephanie on tomorrow about what's next, so. All right, on to item 4B, public hearing for street name change. Sandhill Parkway.
City Council is requested to hold a public hearing for street name changes for Davenport and Aberdeen streets between 205th Avenue and 209th Avenue, and Baltimore Street between Briarwood Lane and 181st Avenue. These changes are proposed to provide consistency with the name of Sandhill Parkway as the name for all street segments that will eventually be components of the frontage service road that will connect 181st Avenue to 221st Avenue. All affected property owners were notified by mail of the public hearing. Staff recommends council conduct a public hearing on this matter to receive comments from any property owners that will be affected by the name change. Approval of the street name change will be considered under item 4B1 on this agenda after the conclusion of the public hearing.
Okay, with that, we'll open a public hearing for the street name change. If there's anyone interested tonight to speak to council, now is your time. And seeing no one come forward, we'll close the public hearing and then move on to 4B1.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. City Council approves Sandhill Parkway as the name for the new service frontage road connection from 187th Avenue to Viking Boulevard. As the extensions to this route will eventually connect 181st to 221st Avenue, there are two street segments in that alignment that are named and would be subject to a change to Sandhill Parkway. One of these sections, Davenport Aberdeen Street between 205th and 209th Avenue, has only two address parcels, the East Bethel Ice Arena and Soda Storage. Neither of the address lots receives mail delivery at this location. Before any other development occurs in this area, and with the intention on having this alignment be named Sandhill Parkway for its entire length, it would be advisable to consider changing the name of this segment at this time. As council is considering a street name change for Davenport Aberdeen Street between 205th and 209th Avenue, and the eventual extension of the service road south to 181st will require a street name change for Baltimore Street between Briarwood Lane and 181st to remain consistent with the street name for this alignment, and as there are no address parcels in this segment of Baltimore Street, therefore, it would be practical to include the name change of this section of Baltimore Street to Sandhill Parkway as part of this consideration prior to any development that may occur on this street frontage. Staff recommends approval of Resolution 2021-48, the name change of Baltimore Street between Briarwood Lane and 181st Avenue, and Davenport Aberdeen Street between 205th and 209th Avenue to Sandhill Parkway.
I'll make a motion for resolution number 2021-48, renaming street sections Davenport, Aberdeen Street between 205th and 209th Avenue, and Baltimore Street between Briarwood Lane and 181st Avenue to Sandhill Parkway.
Second.
Motion made, second, discussion.
I just want to say I love this name.
It was funny, I wish, well, I was driving, I wouldn't have had a camera, but I was driving right in front of last week, right in front of the ice arena, where we're gonna rename the road. And I'm not kidding, what was standing in the shoulder of the road, we're Sandhill
Sandhill
Cranes.
Cranes.
Just standing there, it's like, oh, okay,
They're out
it's
like
like an
crazy.
epiphany or something, so it's crazy. Question I have, Jack, is what happens administratively to, you know, there's not a lot of properties, but the properties that are along here to get their address officially changed? Do we do something with the county or?
We will notify the county of the address change, and then they will send them that new address for their business. With the two businesses that are affected here, the ice arena, the mail for that comes here, so it
Sure.
doesn't affect us. The mail for soda storage comes to their office in Minneapolis. So in these two, there will be no effect on any mailings or change. It'll just be an address change. It'll be noted on the map and sent to their office address.
Okay. Any other discussion? To the motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. On to consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to adopt tonight's consent agenda.
Is there a second?
Second, and I'd like to,
Motion made, second discussion.
I'd like, you go, I'm sorry.
thank you. I'd like to pull A, C, E, and F, please.
Can you say it again? A?
A, Alpha, Charlie, Echo, Foxtrot.
Okay.
And I'd like to pull D.
D?
D as in dog. Douglas.
So we have B, E, and G left? Is that correct? Okay.
E was pulled.
Yeah.
B and G. That's all you got left.
B and G.
Oh, B as well. Okay, I'm sorry. So we have E and G left. Is there any other discussion? To the motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Suzanne, item A.
Okay, item A is the bills list, and I don't really have questions about particular bills on here. I noticed that there's always small tools, durable property type things being purchased, and I'm just wondering if there's an inventory of all this higher cost equipment, and what is the process if something breaks, wears out? Do they turn it in someplace, or do they just dispose of it? That kind of thing.
It's just disposed of. Basically, a lot of these are expendable things that have a short life or wear out, something that may be lost. So it's just filed with the department head that there needs to be a replacement of this item. The department head approves that, and we go ahead and do the purchase.
Okay, so is there a paper trail?
Not for these small items, no, there's not.
Okay. So, yeah, because I'm talking about small items, but they're over $1,000, so.
These wouldn't be over 1,000. Most of them are less than 1,000. Some of them are aggregate bills for small tools.
Okay,
And you look at the bill and it's maybe a combination of 5 or 6 bills together.
okay, and then my other question about the bills list is, for the last couple of months, I haven't seen a payment for Gratitude Farm, so is that listed in a different way, or is it not?
We pay Gratitude Farms by the month, and that falls under the sheriff's bill. That's what it's billed
Okay.
under, so it's billed under the law enforcement.
Okay, I was wondering, because it
Yeah.
used to be had its own
Yeah.
line item, and it's not anymore. Okay, that's all I have. I'll make a motion to approve item A on the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Item B.
Item B is the minutes, and the first, I think the date is wrong. It says June 26th, but I think it's supposed to be July 26th.
That's correct.
That's correct, okay. So, and that's on the form and the other thing. The other thing is, on page 58, my recollection is Councilmember Beck did not vote in favor of the,
Are we off the public forum minutes?
yep, it was just a date change on both of them.
Okay,
You should-
that's a separate line item, so we should probably deal with that first.
If you're done
No,
with
it
B.
wasn't is it the public forum that I pulled?
Yeah. B is public forum minutes.
No, I
No.
pulled C.
Yeah.
AC. We voted on B and G. And so.
Okay,
that's-
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Okay.
I
I
apologize.
just mentioned that the public forum also has a date change wrong, but I was talking about the date change wrong.
Okay.
And I just caught that as I was paging through this. I don't think Councilmember Beck voted in favor of the, to table the matter, and where I voted against it. And then there's a second table. I'm not understanding why this motion is here twice, and then it's all in favor, and it says it's unanimous, and I don't think I voted for it to be unanimous. And if I did, I'm gonna rescind that, but I think my first vote stands on the first table. I mean, is that a mistake that it's on here twice, or where it's being tabled twice? On page 59,
59, okay.
it's tabled the second time. On the bottom of page 58, it's tabled the first time. So I was a little confused about reading this.
I believe I did vote to table it,
Oh, okay,
if I remember correct.
okay. So, I don't know, how do we fix that? Was it tabled twice? And if,
There were two different matters,
There's-
right?
Yeah, there's two different motions, one for Ms. Urkel, one for Ms. Beck. Both of those are tabled because they will be separate resolutions.
oh, it doesn't say that? All right, well, I'm sure I voted against it on both times. I know I voted against it the first time, and the second time it says it's unanimous, and I didn't vote for it. And if I did, I rescind that vote. And that's all I have on the minutes.
Okay.
So would you like these minutes tabled so staff can go back and review the tape?
If that's what, if that's what's necessary, okay, I'll make a motion to
Oh.
table these minutes then.
I have one more correction to make on the minutes
Okay.
before we table.
Go ahead.
Page 36 and 39. That's for item 4C, potentially dangerous dog hearing. After the first paragraph from Davis, there should be a line in there stating, Mundo stated he will be abstaining from discussion and voting for this item.
You
And,
want that inserted after the first paragraph?
yeah,
Okay.
because Jack did introduce it first.
I think we all heard that too, so.
Yeah, and on page 39, where it comes to voting, it says, motion passes unanimously. It should show motion passes with something reflecting 4-0-1 with Mundo abstaining. So, those are my only two corrections for item C.
Any other corrections for this? Then they'll ask for, there's a motion to table. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion's made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that matter's tabled to the next meeting. Now, item D is dog, correct?
That would be mine, page 65, at the bottom, last sentence, it states, Mundo stated he did want to see select individuals ruin something. It should state Mundo stated he did not want to see select individuals. That's my only change. If there's no other changes, I'll make a motion to approve item D.
Second.
Motion made second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes. So now so item E is was pulled or not?
Yes.
Okay. E is in Edward.
Actually, no, I had it written down, but I scribbled it out, so I'll just make a motion to approve item E of the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none. To the motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item F.
Okay, this is the pay request for the service road projects, and actually it probably should be on part of G, but my question is, on these pay requests for these streets, I noticed that they're going around and doing the white taping of, and sealing of a bunch of other streets. Is that included in these street payments, or is that gonna be something that comes up at a different time?
We've actually already paid for that. That's called part of the crack sealing process. It's part of the JPA bid. This item right here is for the service road.
Okay. All right, I'll make a motion to approve item F of the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Motion made second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. I believe we're through our consent agenda. Item 6A1, Quick Trip Site Plan. Stephanie.
Right, this is site plan review for Quick Trip. That's going to be located down off of Highway 65 and 187th on the east side of the road. And so Quick Trip has requested a site plan review for a new 9,195 square foot motor vehicle service station with no repair facilities on site. This is a permitted use in the mixed use district. There will be 23 fuel pumps on site, which are shown, oh, you can't see it up in front here, and then on the side of the building will be the diesel pumps. City staff has reviewed the site plan. It has been determined the site plan meets city code requirements, and staff supports the configuration, architectural standards, lighting, and landscaping plan for the proposed site. City engineer comments dated July 23rd of 2021 have been attached to your report to take a look at. City engineer comments will not change the site plan. However, comments will need to be satisfactorily addressed prior to the issuance of the building permit. So some of the engineering items include, but aren't limited to, stormwater calcs, the NPDES construction permit, that sort of thing. So the architectural design, the building exterior is comprised of brick with a secondary brick trim. The structure meets the requirements of a minimum of 20% of the facade facing the public right-of-way being glass. And then also the architectural design meets the requirements set forth in the city code. So here we have, again, this is what the building will look like. And here's the fueling areas as well. So the landscaping plan also meets the requirements of city code. The plantings and the grass, if they aren't completed prior to the issuance of the certificate of occupancy, the applicant will be required to establish an escrow that will ensure completion no later than 8 months after the issuance of it. The city engineer establishes the amount required for the landscape escrow. The site plan shows 21 parking stalls, which includes 2 accessible stalls. This does meet requirements of the city code. Then also the parking lot includes 12 pole lights with additional lighting on the building and under the canopies. In addition to lighting under the canopies also have a LED strips along the outer edge to illuminate the rest of the paved area. The lighting plan not only provides sufficient lighting for the site, but it will also increase the safety of the site. So next we have the sign plan for the site. This shows that there will be branded signage on the building and the pump stations, as well as directional signage. There is also a proposed monument sign with an electronic display. There's the monument sign. It was brought, I'm gonna go back to this sign plan. So right here you'll see there's a monument sign location on there. It was brought to staff's attention of concerns of the traffic sight distances with the placement of the monument sign in the location that they had proposed. So we had the city engineer review the traffic sight distances for this monument sign. And Mr. Yocum does recommend the location of the monument sign be located further east as to not impede on the sight distances. Staff has noticed or notified the applicant, and staff will ensure that the new location complies with the location that it needs to be, so it doesn't impede on the traffic sight lines. And this will be done at the time of the sign permit.
So what would be the new location of that sign
So
approximately
it's-
on that?
It's going to be located a little bit to the east of where it is right now, about 15 feet.
Okay,
So my cursor isn't working on here, so. If you see, there's a monument sign that runs along on the westerly side. If you can, thank you,
Thank
right
you.
there.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's gonna be moved over. Yes, yes.
Okay, so it'll be in that general, it'll just,
Yep. Yeah, so this is what the city engineer had put together in regards to the site plan. So as Jack is showing right there, that's where it's being proposed. It'll need to move over into the orange highlighted area in order to not impede traffic.
yeah, I think that's a good recommendation.
So then just quick, I'll go through, again, here's the monument sign, meets our city code ordinance requirements. And then this is what Quick Trip will look on the buildings. So you've seen, if you've seen a Quick Trip before, it's the same signage as you've seen. So there we go on the canopies. And then the directional signs that will be on site. Planning Commission reviewed this site plan at the July 27th, 2021 meeting and voted to approve the site plan with a 6-0 vote. Staff recommends the City Council review the site plan and consider the recommendation of approval by Planning Commission with the conditions set forth in Resolution 2021-49 and the accompanied exhibits. And there is a representative from Quick Trip here that can speak tonight if you have any questions for him.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2021-49 and the accompanied exhibits.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion's made and second. Discussion.
Well, the only question I have, is there, what kind of timetable? I mean, you hear different dates. I just, be interesting because people want to, you can't give them a date, but I don't know if you have a date or.
If you could state your name and address.
Yeah, name's Dean George, representing Quick Trip, 1626 Oak Street, La Crosse, Wisconsin. There's no date. The year is a little bit in flux because the site needs to settle in terms of surcharging the soil, so it's possible that has to sit for 12 months. So at
Okay.
the very latest, it'll be a 2023 summer
Okay,
construction.
Thank you.
Yep.
I just want, oh, I'm
What's the
sorry.
soonest?
I'm gonna go ahead and say it's 23 summer.
Okay.
Yeah. From what I hear from the engineering side of things, the site has to sit for a little while.
Okay.
And from most of the residents and all that I've heard from, the Quick Trip is very much welcomed.
Excellent, thank
So
you.
we look forward
We-
to seeing it.
Credit to your community, we got a lot of emails and a lot of calls at our corporate office saying we want Quick Trip in East Bethel. Oh, I mean, it was probably,
Well, so our plan worked.
yeah.
We told people. to
There was a
call you,
week
don't
there
ask
where, there was a
us,
week
so.
there where everybody who lives up on Sims Road was emailing us nonstop. I don't know if any of you people are here.
Only question I have, I watched the planning meeting and, what would it take to change your mind about not putting a car wash in?
I just don't think we have the space.
Oh, you've heard a lot of
Yeah.
people asking for
Yeah.
a car wash.
Yeah, so, I understand the lot size, but, I say it a little facetiously, but it is something that I think Quick Trips are known for too, so. But lack of space, that's a good answer. Any other questions?
Well, my only comment is on the page that Stephanie was talking about, the monument. It has that number 3 where the car wash building letters are still listed, and that was brought up at the planning commission, and it's still on here. So is that supposed to be removed off of here, or it doesn't matter, or?
Yeah, what will happen is, we'll have to get a whole new updated plan set from them,
Okay.
once this is approved,
Okay.
for our files.
Yep, point of clarification, I guess, that new plan set just can get run through city staff administratively, not back through this body.
That's correct, the city staff, just for our files.
Okay, any other questions?
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
If there's no further discussion, to the motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Welcome to East Bethel.
Thank you.
Okay, on to department reports. Stephanie.
All right, the next item is an administrative subdivision located at 3112 199th Avenue Northeast, located off of County Road 15 and East Bethel Boulevard. The property owners own a 10.24 acre parcel that they would like to subdivide it into 2 lots. So one, known as parcel A, as you see up on the screen, would be 8.04 acres. This has the existing home on it. And the other one is known as parcel B, which will be a 2.20 acre parcel. Each new lot exceeds the city code requirements for a minimum lot size of 2 acres and a 200-foot width at the right-of-way and at the front yard setback. Parcel A, with the existing home, will have a 448-foot of frontage, and parcel B will have 225 feet of frontage. It also meets the requirements for an administrative subdivision. A $2,000 park dedication fee will be collected for the newly created lot prior to the release of the documents to be filed with Anoka County. So at this time, City Council is requested to consider approval of the administrative subdivision with the conditions set forth in the attached resolution 2021-50, and the property owners are here to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, is there a motion on this tonight?
Make a motion to approve the administrative subdivision with resolution 2021-50, along with conditions set forth in the resolution.
I'll second.
Okay, motion made, second, discussion. Jack, Steph, how do we, I know I've asked this question before on these, how do we track the fact that you can only do this once on a property, right?
You have, yeah. So what we've done on this one is we've went back and done some extensive research, just to ensure that it hasn't been done. And these property owners have not done any lot splits on this property.
But I mean, like in the future going forward, you know, owners of what'll be a new parcel A want to do the same type of subdivision. How do we know?
We update the property file, so what we're doing now is keeping the information in the property file.
Okay.
It's happened in the past, that information was not in the property files, so right now I'm just ensuring that it's in there.
And it's a document that remains in the property file. It's not something we purge.
Yeah, that's correct. And then also, we will be filing the resolutions with the county.
Okay.
So would that appear on the title for the property then?
Yes, it will.
Okay.
That's probably the best spot.
Yeah.
Okay, any other discussion? To the motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. On to city administrator.
Nothing to report.
Did I miss one? 7G1?
don't believe so.
No?
Well, I was given a wrong agenda then. You don't have it in your agenda, so I have it right there, right? See it? Okay, so on the staff reports, Jack.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In regards to the consideration of the private kennel license for Gratitude Farms, there's been some questions regarding how that fits within our code. The city attorney and I have had a lot of discussions on this, and Chris is gonna give us an update on how to proceed with this as an issue for renewal. And he's done some extensive research and is going to give council what his recommendations are moving forward on this.
Thank you, Jack. Mayor and members of council, at the previous meeting, I know this came up for the first time looking at it in terms of an accessory use for this, where the code clearly defines it as a accessory use. So as we discussed at the previous meeting, an IUP is not required. The matter will be coming back before the council, potentially on the licensure aspect of this to grant a private kennel license. Just want to note too, and I'm preparing a memo for the council for when this issue comes back to the council. Private kennel is defined, and I want to read it exactly, means any place where more than 2 dogs over 4 months of age are kept and harbored, provided that such animals are owned by the owner or lessee of the premises on which they are kept or harbored, and the owner or lessee of said premises is not conducting a business operation involving the dogs, whether for-profit or non-profit. The interesting thing about this is the first part of that definition says where 2 dogs over 4 months are being kept or harbored, meaning if it's under 4 months, they appear not to count on this. So private kennel licensure almost reads as if you have 2 dogs and are breeding 2 dogs on your property, that perhaps a private kennel license isn't required at all for that. It almost reads like it's specifically exempting that type of activity from a private kennel license. So we'll need some more information about the number of dogs that are on site unrelated to the animal control use. The IUP for the animal control use lays out the requirements for the operation as the animal control officer on this property. It has a specific number of dogs and kennels that are allowed, and that's the controlling document. This private kennel license is for something else. The IUP related to the home occupation as the animal control officer is what governs that. So the question that we have for the applicant is, what is the purpose of proceeding for the private kennel license? And I think that's something that we need a little bit of clarification on. We'll get that. But if there are simply 2 adult dogs on the property, per the definition of a private kennel license might not even be required. So we need to determine how many adult dogs are on the property.
How much of this is, I mean, you're reciting and reviewing what our current city ordinances are.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything from a state or county standpoint that dictates how this is done? Or is it local, really truly local?
Well, when it relates to, what we can issue and, whether it be for land use or this licensure provision we have, that's strictly local. If there are other requirements imposed by the state for operating, an animal control kennel, that could be a condition of that IUP, but that's separate and apart from this one issue that we're looking at here.
Okay.
So I just wanted to provide that update and say this will be coming back, but the council will be getting a full report once we get all the information, and that will be provided to you from my office. So.
And we're keeping in mind while you're doing this too, that it's not just one IUP we're talking about a few, right?
Correct. A total of 4 that have been granted for the property, 3 of which relate to dogs, 1 of which, as we discussed at the last
No,
meeting.
my point is throughout the city, we have
Correct.
other IUPs and for kennel licenses,
I
correct?
checked, we have 3 active IUPs for kennel license.
Okay.
There were we traced this back to 2010, and most of the others that were issued have moved or they've let their license expire.
Okay. So it's not widespread, but we got a few to consider. All right. And when do you think you're gonna come back with this?
I believe it'll be at the next meeting.
I have a question. When I read through some of those IUPs, it seems like they contradict each other. Like one lets her do one thing, like the breeding and the other thing, whereas one says you're not allowed to do that. So, and I don't have it in front of me and I don't have it memorized, but is that something that you're going to address? How they, because in my mind, it's just crazy how they contradict each other.
Correct. That'll all be addressed in this, and that information will all be for you at your next meeting. And Jack, Stephanie, and I have been doing a comprehensive review on this so we can get all these questions answered.
Thank you.
Hey, any other questions on this? Is that it, Chris?
That's it, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Jack, anything else?
That's all.
Okay, on the council reports, Brian.
We had National Night Out, or Night to Unite last week. It looked like a very successful event for most of the city. The fire department took me out riding with them, so I want to thank the fire department for allowing that. Saw lots of other parties as we drove by and visited the couple that we did. So that was very successful after being cooped up for a year or more, to get out and see neighbors, meet new people, have good conversations. Hopefully, more events will occur and we won't have another wave of stuff to prevent neighbors from seeing neighbors. I'll have a EDA meeting next Monday, and tomorrow night we have a park meeting. I tentatively plan to attend that. I know Ms. Beck is the liaison. If anybody else was interested in attending, I guess I'll let Jack know so we don't go over 2 council members at one meeting. So, other than that, that's all I have.
Okay, Shelley.
Like he said, we have the Parks meeting tomorrow. It's at 6:30 at the John Anderson Park. The adjoining neighborhoods will be invited to attend to discuss potential park projects. So anybody around the John Anderson Park area that wants to join, please join. And I look forward to seeing everybody out there. That's all I have for tonight.
Okay, Tim.
This morning, the fire department had ability training. That's where they go through 5 different stations. They have to do 5 different things. They're timed. And second of all, we got a booster day meeting Wednesday night. Anybody wants to volunteer, has any ideas, 6:30 here, City Hall. That's all I've got.
Suzanne.
I too attended several Night to Unite parties, and I want to thank all of the organizers. They put in a lot of effort. On July 27th, I attended a planning commission meeting, and we talked about the Quick Trip, and I love their building. A lot of people did talk about how they desired there to be a car wash. I want to repeat something that I've said before. I ask a lot of questions up here. A lot of the times residents call me and ask me those questions, and I give them an answer. Sometimes I'll answer what I think might be the right answer, but I always ask to make sure it's an official answer. And I want to ask Jack that later. I am concerned about missing documents online, because I went through and tried to find some old documents and meeting minutes and stuff like that, and they're not online anymore. I'm concerned about that, and I am also concerned about businesses, IUPs that are not filed at the county. So I don't know if you want to email me that answer or answer it tonight?
Can
or-
you give me the dates of those missing documents? Somebody mentioned, I think Christine mentioned something about some things in the minutes. There was a gap in those.
Yeah, there's a couple of months missing.
If you can give me those, I'll look them up and I'll
Okay.
check the others if you can give me the names.
Okay, I don't have the dates with me, but I will answer you
All right.
later. And then I do have a question for you after the meeting about the video. And that's all I have, thank you.
Question about the Parks meeting. Did we notify all the residents? We send mailing to the residents in the area? Is there?
Yes.
Did we advertise it or?
It wasn't advertised as a public hearing, it was advertised as a neighborhood meeting, so all the adjoining neighbors that were served by that park were sent notices.
Oh, good.
Just
good.
like we did with the one down at Northland Manor, when we had the discussion at
Yep.
the dog park about 3 years ago. That's the procedure we followed.
Yeah, I mean, for things like this, direct mailing's absolutely the best way. I also want to follow up too with the question about the missing files. I mean, this is something that we've discussed or asked about for quite a long time now. You know, it kind of came up last year when we had the personnel issue, and I had thought that staff was going through just to identify what files were missing, if files are missing, what the extent of this is, and I mean, we've asked about it a couple times in the past, and so just curious when we're gonna find out what happened, so.
Aaron is working on that right now. I will make sure that that's accelerated and we'll try to have something to you by a meeting no later than September.
Okay, because like I said, we've been talking about this for quite a long time now, so. And that's all I have. They'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes, our meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
We have an HRA meeting now.
Yeah, we do have an Housing and Redevelopment Authority meeting starting momentarily.
Are
You
you
can
ready?
stay if you like.
Anytime you're ready.
I think
You
they're
chair this
gonna
thing,
be
right?
discussing,
You chair this, right?
Yeah,
some of the trails.
Oh,
I got
why-
it. Order the August 9th HRA meeting. Is there a motion to adopt tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We have an agenda. Item 3, approval of minutes from January 25th, 2021.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from April 12th, 2021.
Motion made,
Second.
second, all those in favor? Or discussion?
Any discussion?
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that approved. Sorry. Item number 4, HRA financial update.
Thank you, Tim. Per Minnesota State Statute 469.033, Subdivision 6, the East Bethel HRA must prepare and file a budget in accordance with the budget procedure of the city. The HRA approved a levy amount of $69,500 for 2021 to ensure the continual legal status of the city HRA as a standalone authority and to provide HRA funds for eligible projects. The maximum statutory levy for an HRA is 0.00185% of the previous year's estimated market value of all property in the city. In 2020, the estimated market value of all property in the city was $1,326,806,200, enabling a maximum levy of $245,459. Currently, the unaudited HRA cash account balance as of July 20th, 2021 is $104,178. The HRA staff services for 2021 have been funded by a $30,000 transfer from the HRA account to the city general fund to support the administrative duties, staff time, and other responsibilities required of the HRA. The transfer has been completed and is reflected in the HRA fund balance. The final tax settlement revenue will be distributed to the HRA in December of 2021. The HRA account balance is projected to be $136,684 at year-end 2021. The proposed HRA budget for 2022 is $77,000 and is reflected in your packet. This amount would reflect an 11% increase. It was approved for the 2021 budget. This amount would be 31% of the maximum levy that could be adopted on the 2020 property valuations. The HRA levy is separate and apart and not part of the general fund account of the city. So that's currently where we stand with our HRA account, and the new proposed levy was $77,000, which was an 11% increase over 2021.
There's no action, correct?
No action required.
Item number 5, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made, second discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries, we're adjourned.
Thank you.